Hereby call the April 15th, 2019 Alexander County Board of Commissioners meeting to order. At this time, we'll have an invocation by Commissioner Larry Yoder and a pledge of allegiance from Commissioner Ronnie Reese.
Let us pray. Our kind and most gracious Heavenly Father, we appreciate the opportunity that you've given us to gather here tonight. Lord, we'd ask your blessings upon the people of this county, to the leaders. Lord, be with those who have lost loved ones recently. Give them peace. Lord, we'd ask you to be with those people in Paris after the cathedral there at Notre Dame that burned to the ground today. We'd ask you to be with those folks. We'd ask you to be with our military, our local police, our law enforcement, and our emergency personnel. Lord, look after us. Also take care of our local, federal, state, and leaders. Look after our world. For all these things we ask in thy name. Amen.
Attention, salute, pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everyone's had a chance to look at the agenda. I would hear a motion to adopt the agenda.
Move to approve.
Have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion passes unanimously. On May the 6th, we announced last month that we'll have a public hearing regarding Consolidated Human Services Board and a Consolidated Human Service Structure. Again, this was announced on April the 2nd. Just for the record, we'll limit speakers at this public hearing to 5 minutes apiece, and also comments directly related to employees or personnel issues will not be allowed. So that's just for your information. Do we have any commissioners' reports at this time?
Mr. Chairman, I think everyone probably got the email, but our Alexander County Emergency Communications or 911 Center with Greg Foster and his employees, they were spotlighted in the April issue of the North Carolina NENA. It's the 911 communications paper, so I'd like to thank them for the good job they do for us in the county.
Yeah, that was a nice honor. Any others? I would like to mention driving through town and seeing all the cars parked at the new offices is uplifting. It's a nice look when you drive through town.
That's right.
So, any other reports? At this time, we'll move on to our regular meeting. And first up, we have Mr. Rod Watts, General Manager from Energy United Water Corporation, to tell us about water.
Thank you for having me today. The water line on Millersville Road, probably most of you have been down Millersville Road in the last month or two, but that project is almost complete. Pending any rain, we may finish it this week if it dries out enough where we can get in there to get it finished, but it's real close. And just so you'll know, that what that project's going to do, as a reminder, is that line can serve as a backup to either Alexander County or Energy United Water at this time. Now, it'll only be a partial backup, very small backup, but it will give some water either way. In the future, it could be, if we could work a few things out, it could be a tie-in for a permanent source of water. We'll probably talk about that someday, but it'll be great to get this line in the ground, have an interconnect there where we can put a meter and do some things together.
It's good news.
Great. Appreciate y'all's help in putting that together for us. And, we need to work together to get some projects completed. So I appreciate what you're doing.
I think Rick's been great to work with this whole project. And we've got a lot more projects that some will probably get done, some maybe we won't, but we've been able to work great together, and I appreciate that. Sean Pennell's been great from the city of Hickory to work with. That's a asset to the county to have Sean.
Sure is.
It's
Well,
kind
Roger,
of
on
fitting
that
to the
side.
story that when we put all the heads at the table, we usually get a pretty good result.
Yeah,
That's right.
All right, Rod, it's been a good working relationship for several years now. It's
has.
worked out real well from all the things we did up on the northeast side and the
Ac-
northwest. It worked out real well.
Yeah.
I appreciate the effort and the work that Energy United's done with Alexander County. It's been
I
very good for
appreciate you,
both
Larry.
parties.
Instrumental in that northeastern project.
Yes.
You were right there.
Absolutely.
Appreciate that.
Over the years, we've done a lot of good things. Gotten water to a lot of places we didn't think we would be able to accomplish some of those things, but it's been very positive. But we only got it by working together to make it happen.
That's right.
So all we got to do is talk to one another.
I appreciate that. It's been great. We've done a lot lately, and the last few years has been great.
But you should also receive a lot of credit, Rod, because you've made a big difference in this too.
We're doing the best we can do.
Yeah.
I got a good crew.
Yes.
Good bunch to work with, good people. Thank you.
Thank you, we certainly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next, we'll have Chris Rosenboom from McKimmon Creed to tell us sewer treatment feasibility update and kind of give us some vision here.
Thank you, Commissioners. Thank you, Ms. Starnes, Mr. French, for letting me be here and update you guys on this project. Probably about in the fall, we started doing what we're calling feasibilities. Just kind of taking a look at some different options for the future, specific to the Bethlehem area of the county. And basically taking a look and just saying, what are our options moving forward? For specific for water and wastewater treatment. With the predicted growth in the Bethlehem area of the county, we wanted to basically take a look at our long-term service options. I guess the key point here is we're looking ahead. So the first part of this project was to kind of identify some areas that might be feasible sometime in the future to locate a treatment facility on. We took a general look at multiple parcels using a long list of criteria. Proximity to water source and discharge. Of course, for water and wastewater treatment, you require, got to be able to get water to and from its source. Proximity to the primary collection system, land availability, cost, accessibility, site elevation, proximity to possibly environmentally sensitive lands or contamination sources. And from that, we've come up with some potential sites, mostly adjacent to Rink Lake, as terms of being a possible feasible location for this work. And that's kind of where we're at right now. And we hope to move forward and keep taking a look, but that's basically an update of what the work completed to date.
What we may ask them to do is come back and provide another update, maybe in the next few months, as we maybe have tied in with a budget work session or something, so we can keep this moving forward.
Yeah, because the project of this magnitude is big. And we want to be able to look now and look down the road at the same time, so.
And this is just a very much a look ahead.
Yeah.
This is all very preliminary and conceptual, and this is kind of like the first look to see, is it feasible?
Yeah, appreciate your work on that and putting it together, and like I say, it's just a vision that we need to keep in sight as we're moving forward, so,
Yes, sir.
and I appreciate your work for it. We'll be seeing you again, I'm sure, so.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. French will now share with us Household Hazardous Waste Day, information pertaining to that.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Saturday, May the 4th, From 8 to 12 will be Household Hazardous Waste Day in Alexander County. Be held at the County Administration Building parking lot. Items that can be disposed of on that day are household cleaners, including such things as drain openers, toilet bowl cleaners, oven cleaners, disinfectants, different types of paint products, latex and oil-based paint, thinners, shellacs, varnishes, things like that, automotive products, lead-acid batteries, used motor oil, brake fluid, things of that nature, different kinds of pesticides, which include herbicides, insecticides, fungicides. Also, on that day, we will take miscellaneous items such as acids, bases, kerosene, household batteries, and fluorescent bulbs, electronics, aerosol cans, pool chemicals, propane gas cylinders, and things of that nature. In conjunction with that, we will also have a document destruction truck on site. So if you want to dispose of personal documents, we ask that citizens only have a limit of 5 boxes per vehicle, and that's really to keep the line moving. And again, this is Household Hazardous Waste Day. It's a free service for the residents of Alexander County only. Farmers are welcome, and again, they may bring insecticides, pesticides, and things of that nature. If you have questions or want to call about anything issues or anything you want to call, if you'll call Solid Waste Recycling Department at 632-1101, that's 632-1101, or contact Cooperative Extension at 632-4451. And again, Saturday, May 4th is Household Hazardous Waste Day.
Mr. French will also share with us the schedule for a work session proposed in May of next month.
Really just wanted you to talk a minute about scheduling a time, get you to start looking at your calendars. Currently, we have a meeting on May the 6th, and if you would look at your calendars and be prepared to set another meeting day in May at that meeting, just want to make sure that we have a conversation about that. We're getting into budget season, so we'll need to schedule another day after May the 6th.
We just need to get back with you on some potential dates.
Yes, sir, please.
Thank you, sir. And now on to our budget ordinances.
We have 3 tonight, I believe. Budget ordinance number 40 is to budget for additional state funds for maternal health and family planning. We have to increase detention budget for estimated medical supplies and inmate medical bills for the remainder of the 2018-2019 budget year due to serious medical conditions that require treatment beyond that provided by the in-house medical visits. Additional funds may be needed at a later time. That's 39. The one I mentioned earlier actually was ahead of myself, is number 40. And budget amendment number 41 is to budget for the post-overdose response team grant from the North Carolina Department of Public Health and the North Carolina Office of Emergency Medical Services. Grant funds will be used for post-overdose response team activities, billboards, and printed educational materials for outreach and follow-up contact with patients. And that's the 3 budget amendments we have tonight, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. I would like to note, sir, that medical supplies detention, the fact that when we have someone incarcerated, healthcare costs are on our checkbook. So we're at the mercy of inmates with good health, I guess would be the best way to think of that. And if they don't, then we are legally bound to take care of it. Also, the other 2 are grants in and out, so that's a good report. Have a motion for approval of budget amendments 39 through 41.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve budget ordinance amendments number 39, 40, and 41.
Motion heard. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion carries. Mr. French will now share with us board appointments and reappointments to the Historic Preservation Committee and Carolina Land and Lakes RC&D Board.
Thank you again, Mr. Chairman. Historic Preservation Committee, appoint Betty Long for 1 year, Helen Anthony for 2 years, Lee Sharp for 2 years, Nancy Coley for 3 years, and Commissioner Larry Yoder for 3 years. Carolina Land and Lakes RC&D Board, appoint Jack Sims.
You've heard the appointments. Do we have a motion?
Make a motion to approve those committee members as stated.
So heard. Second.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion carries. And Mr. French will now share the county manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As mentioned earlier, the Alexander County Services Center is open for business with a number of departments operating. We're taking, for example, building inspections, cooperative extension, soil and water, and recreation are all operating there. May the 2nd, we're planning on moving the tax office into the center, and later on in May, Register of Deeds office. So by early June, the building should be fully occupied. We still have some things at the Wittenberg Elementary School, old Wittenberg Elementary School, that we'll need to clean, but for the most part, in the building downtown will be in there. So I'll keep you posted on what's going on with it. Saturday, we had our 7th Rocky Fest day at Rocky Face Park. The weather was not so good and so kind to us. It didn't rain as much as it did on yesterday. But we still appreciate all the volunteers and local citizens who came out and supported our event. We really want to thank the Vasti Fire Department members that helped us. They helped us in a number of ways that day. Also want to thank Doug and Laura Gillespie, Christy Harrington, Kathy Steichleather, David Eisenhower, Gary Herman and his son, Larissa and Jason Erkman, and all the little Erkmans and their friends that came. Alicia Stamey, Connie Kincaid, a lot of the park staff, and I think we had a good day. We just didn't have the numbers that we'd hoped for because of the weather. In your package, you also have information for an ARC grant that we are applying for. The ARC grant is for providing the utilities for our new shell building that'll start later this year. It's $600,000, so we're applying for a $300,000 ARC grant for utilities. That's for water and sewer for that facility. Also, later this week, on Wednesday, is the NCACC district meeting, and it's in Wilkesboro. If anyone can attend, if you let us know in the morning, we can still get you signed up. And again, that meeting is in Wilkesboro, includes a meal. And it's always very informative. And that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
What time is that meeting?
5:30. I have something for closed session, but that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, everyone's had an opportunity to look at the consent agenda. At this time, we'll hear a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda as stated in our packet.
Do we have a second?
Second?
Any discussion on the consent agenda? All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes. We'll now hear a motion to enter into closed session per North Carolina General Statute 143-318.1 11A, 5 and 6 contractual and personnel. So I hear a motion for adjournment to closed session.
Mr. Chairman, I move to move into closed session.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Motion passes unanimously, and we will adjourn.
You didn't take a vote.
Oh, how about, yeah, all in favor, vote? Motion passes. Still, I had
Do it
vision.
right. Yeah.
And we will adjourn only to close. Re-adjourn only to adjourn,
Yeah, that's right.
something like that.
There you go. Yeah.